Shalom, all praises go to the Most High, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah. Double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone, for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. And shalom to the sincere Akim that's doing this work. Yeah, this is Genesis chapter 40, titled, Joseph Interprets Dream. Verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. Right, the butler of the king, and the baker, they both offended their lord, their king, the king of Egypt at that time. Going on, so it says, verse 2. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in the ward, in the house of the captain of the guard. Let me read it again. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, because Joseph was the boss over there. And he served them, not boss, but the doer. And he served them, and they continued a season in ward. So, Joseph was in jail for a long time too, man. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamt a dream, and there is no interpreter. Interpreter. What? Interpreter. How you say that? Wait, let me see. Interpreter, right? Let me just. I think I know this word, but how you pronounce it?
Interpreter.
Okay. Interpreter. Okay. And there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong unto the Most High, Yahweh? Tell me them, I pray you. So Joseph asked, tell me. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded. Now, the word budded, I'm going to check that out because I do not know what that means. Budded. A small, wait, let me go up in the Hebrew. The word budded, right? And, so it's Genesis chapter 10, and Genesis chapter 40 and 10. So the word budded, right? 65:24. To bud, sprout, shoot, bloom. Yo, okay. Budded, a small protuberance on a stem or branch, sometimes enclosed in protective scales and containing an undeveloped leaved flower or leafy shoot. Okay. Yep. The stage of having buds. The stage or conditioning of having buds. Okay, going on. And in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded. So I think it means bloom, but it bloomed, or had something in it. and her blossoms sprung forth. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. It was blooming, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation thereof. This is the interpretation of it. The three branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days, Joseph was wise, man. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou was his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. When the chief baker saw the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream. And behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost baskets there was of all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh. So all type of baked meats there was there. And the birds did eat them off the basket upon my head. So the bread that he had for the Pharaoh, the birds ate it. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree. And the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. Oh man, that's some shit to bear. To know before you're gonna die, which is something that happened to the Lord Yahweh Shai, by the way, which he was crossed. He knew like, oh shit. That's why he prayed 3 times in the garden of Shememity or whatever, Yosemite, I think. And yeah, but that's another story. Anyway, and it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants, and he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, and Joseph had interpreted to them, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. And that was wicked, because he forgot him. Yeah, but anyway, he's the one that interpreted his dream. But anyway, he forgot him. So yeah. So with that, I'm gonna say, shalom.